Leonardo da Vinci had started to work on a large canvas in his studio. For a while he worked at it, choosing the subject, planning the perspective, sketching the outline, applying the colours with his own inimitable genius. Then suddenly he stopped working on it. Summoning one of his talented students, the master invited him to complete the work. The horrified student protested that he was both unworthy and unable to complete the great painting which his master had begun. But da Vinci silenced him. "Will not what I have done inspire you to do your best?" Jesus, our Master, began to spread the good news 2,000 years ago by what he said and did, and supremely by what he suffered. Jesus illustrated his message and left us to finish the picture. Will Jesus' life not inspire us to finish the picture? Today is Ascension Day, when Jesus, who until the cross had been walking with his disciples, teaching them about life with God, teaching them about the kingdom of God, and preparing them for the time when he won't be with them in a bodily way. On Ascension Day, we celebrate Jesus returning to heaven. Of course, for the disciples and for the student in the anecdote I opened with, emotions were somewhat mixed. These disciples who'd enjoyed the earthly closeness with Jesus probably didn't want him to go. We are in a time of our lives when we don't want to be distant from those we love, and yet one of the hard realities of coronavirus is the physical distance we have to keep, even from family and friends. It was my dad's birthday yesterday. He lives really close by. I'd have loved to have gone and delivered a card and gift in person, spending some time with my parents and my father seeing his grandchildren. However, that's not possible at the moment, so we may do with a virtual visit using FaceTime. Which got me thinking, I couldn't be with my father in person in the same physical space, but he was there on FaceTime. It wasn't a robotic version of my father, it was my father. While not physically present, he was genuinely present. We had a real conversation and enjoyed each other's company. The disciples were going to miss Jesus' physical presence with them, but they were not going to be distant from Jesus, who was just as present, just as available, just as interested in them from heaven as when he was physically present on earth. Today is not only Ascension Day, but the start of a period running from today until Pentecost, which the Church calls Thy Kingdom Come. It's a global prayer movement, praying for God's Spirit to come upon us and praying for people to come to know the love of Jesus for themselves. Central to Thy Kingdom Come is the practice of prayer. Now, prayer could be described as the spiritual equivalent of Zoom, Google Hangouts, Skype or FaceTime, because what prayer does is it enables the encounter between us and God. When I pray, Jesus is not physically beside me, but he is present. When I talk to him, he both listens and speaks. We've all got used to living our lives on Zoom. We've had to, in order to stay in touch with those whom we love or need to remain in contact with. See prayer as a necessary way of enabling the contact to continue, physically distant perhaps, but no less present.